Hello, my Stampin' friends. I hope you're having a good night. I'm Candace Anderson with stampinwithcandace.com, coming to you live from Hiram, Utah. And I think everything's working. I'm getting better at this. Only taking me a year and a half, but that's okay. Um, it is June 15th of 2026. I can't believe that it is already halfway through June and we're almost halfway through this year. But that's how life goes, right? I am super excited to share this project with you. And then I have a little bit of an announcement. So kind of stay till the end if you can. But this project was shared recently at one of our team meetings that we had, and my friend Amelia shared this, and I thought it was so cute. And I kind of combined that with an idea that I got from Stampin' Up that they shared recently. I think I shared it on my Instagram, not positive, but I'm pretty sure it's on my Instagram, that their idea. And we are going to be using we're going to switch cameras so you can see what I'm using here. We're going to be using the Balloon Fest and stamp set and matching dies. This is one of the new sets that is in the catalog. If you don't have a catalog, reach out to me. I'll be happy to grab you one, or you can find it online. So this is in the actual catalog, not an online exclusive there. But these dies are super fun. Look at how big these are. Just so you have an idea comparison wise, let me just show you. So this is a standard envelope. So a 5.5 by 4.25 card is going to fit in it. And this is actually even bigger. So it does not even fit in there. The cards I'm making, I used this size because it does fit inside, but I've seen so many cute things. You could make banners, all kinds of cute things. And then it goes down to teeny tiny. So this one here does cut out this balloon here, but I'm going to show you something else with this at the end. So be sure to jump back on or continue watching to the end because you want to see the other project for sure. But we're going to get started with this one. And I've got a few different samples that I can share with you that I made with this as well. We're going to move this out of the way. So the first thing I did was I cut, this is just a 4.25 by 5.5. And I cut two of them. So what you would normally make a card out of, I just cut two of these big ones. And then I cut a smaller white one. It's just the next size down that's going to be in our inside. This one is 3/4 by 3.5. That's really going to kind of depend on um, what saying you use. And then I cut the little teeniest balloon. And I don't know if you noticed this in here, but you've got multiple different sizes of these here for your little highlight on your balloon. You can also cut some little strings if you want. The stamp set has all kinds of cute different sayings and things that you can decorate a card with, but also that you can decorate the balloons with, which is what we're going to be doing. And this particular color combo and design, I haven't done this one before, so I'll show you the other three. The other cool part about what I'm doing here, I am using one color, and that's it. And I just realized I forgot to grab out my blending brush. So we're going to use a blending brush and one color and white. So you can do it in any color you want. I am using the new in colors. So we're going to grab our Peaceful Pines here. The first thing we're going to do before we start any stamping is we're going to take one of these. It doesn't matter which one, they're exactly the same. I did do it so that the die cutting is up, if that makes sense. So you get a kind of, I don't know if you can see the difference. It's really hard to tell. But if you feel it, this is kind of the rough edge from the back and the more smooth edge from the front. So I did it smooth edge up on both of them. We're going to grab our cutting and scoring tool. And we don't want the cutting blade, we want the scoring, and we're gonna line it up on about a half an inch right here and kind of try and center that the best that we can so that it is centered. Now, if you wanted to, you could pre-do this. So if you wanted to make sure that you were a little bit more centered, you could score here. One thing to know on this is we are going to be using the top part right here. So make sure that you put this down as low as possible on here. So anyway, we're going to kind of line that up there, roughly about a half inch here, and we're just going to score across the top. So we have kind of this cut score right along the top. Now, before I use this one, we're going to move this aside and we're going to do some stamping here. So we're going to grab all of these little pieces really quick. This is our back piece, so we're going to set that aside. And we are going to start with our polka dots here. And we're just going to randomly kind of stamp them along the top section. And I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm just going to kind of somewhat do it along the top here. Kind of throw it in there and there. And then I'm going to grab my hip hip hooray, and I'm going to stamp the inside here. And we will add a few little polka dots on there. We're going to set that one aside. And we're going to stamp some polka dots on this one as well. Okay, so we're done with our little polka dots. We'll move that out of the way. And then hopefully this, what I cut will fit here. We're going to do our happy birthday on here. And I'm going to leave it just away from the side just a tiny bit here because I am going to cut that edge just a little bit. And there's cute sayings, let's celebrate, hip hip hooray, you did it. So, you know, this can be a congratulations card as well. And all right, so next we're going to grab our blending brush, and we're just going to kind of add some additional color. I'm going to pick up some of this here. And I want it a little bit darker at the top. I don't know why, I just liked the look of it. So it kind of went darker at the top and just a little bit down here along the edges. And we're going to grab this one. We're going to go really light with this. So I'm going to start off here. And I don't want it to be as dark as this, but I also don't want it to be white. So we're just going to add a little bit of color to that one. And then this one right here, we're going to make this nice and dark. This is a fun way to get another color without needing to do a different ink. Kind of like a reverse stamping off, I guess you could say, because I'm going to get it nice and dark where I'm going right on the cardstock and getting that nice and dark. This gave me nice and light, so I'm getting lots of different tones all from the same ink using the blending brush. All right, one last thing we need to stamp. We're going to stamp this little like balloon edge kind of off to the side, just right down there. All right, and before I go any further, we're going to close that. We're going to move these out of the way. So we've stamped everything. We're going to move this all out of the way, and we are going to clean off our mat here. Oh, I also want to add just a tiny bit to this one, this little white one here. I just didn't like it white, white, white. So just kind of blending just a tiny bit of green onto that. All right, now we can get this all nice and cleaned off here. All right, I want to add a little bit of sparkle. So you have the choice. If you're using the in colors, we do have the shimmer brushes, or you can use the Wink of Stella. I'm going to just use the Wink of Stella because it's faster, but I'm just going to add some sparkle. If you've seen me show you the other ones before, the Wink of Stella does sparkle, I think, a little bit more than the, we're going to set that aside to dry, and we're just going to kind of make some of these sparkle. I want to do this one here so you can kind of see the difference. I mean, they're quite similar. So these two here, I used the shimmer brush, and these two here, I used the Wink of Stella. Sorry, brain is not connecting here. So we're just going to add a little bit more to these. It is very, very similar though. So you can get kind of the same look with either one, depending on what you want. These are really fun though, because you can like write with them and you've got the color already in there. So they are very fun. I still recommend getting them. So last thing, we have this piece right here, and I'm going to go ahead and add my Wink of Stella first, just because it's a little bit easier to hold on to. And the whole reason I had you do the inking and the Wink of Stella first is because it is definitely easier to hold on to when it is on when it's still attached to this paper than when we cut it. So we're going to place it in here, and we're just going to put it up at basically it's about 1/4 of an inch. Just kind of watch where your curve is, because you don't want to cut it so it gets a curve in there. So you can make it a little bit wider if you want to, whatever. It just needs to be down enough or narrower depending on how close you were to that edge there. So we're going to cut that off, but it gives us a fun, nice accent that we might not have had just using our paper. And again, the goal I had was to use one color of paper and one color of ink to see what I could do. And so I've just cut the edges there, and here I'm just going to cut it into a little tag shape. All right, now we are ready to put together our card. So we're going to start with our bottom here, and we're going to do our inside. And of course, if you have a light color or white, you don't really need to do this part, but it is super cute. But with a darker color, it definitely helps because it allows us to add that inside so we can stamp on. So now you can see this is our fold right here. So we're going to add glue to just the fold part. And we're going to apply this one right over the top of it. And we'll let that dry for a second while we put the rest of the front of our card together here. So I'm just going to add some glue to the middle of this, and it's going to go roughly across here. If I line this up, I can kind of somewhat get it straight. Doesn't have to be perfect though. And we've got just that little bit of sparkle and darker on there. And then actually, I'm going to put the glue right on here, and my little happy birthday going across there. Now, of course, you could move this up or down depending on if you want more of that to show. And we're going to finish this off with some dimensionals. I'm just going to add a couple big ones back here. And I think I'm going to cut this one down just a tiny bit here. So I want to make sure that it's going to be behind this little balloon here. And this happy birthday is a little bit bigger than some of the other words I did. So we're going to slide it over. We're going to do something really quick. I want this to stick out, not a lot, but I'm just going to cut this so that I can make it a little bit bigger. So since it's behind something, it's not going to really matter. Another way to expand. And that way I can get that happy birthday over just a little further. Now, this one, remember, we cut off this, so we have a little bit of room to play here and still make it so it's going to fit inside our card. Cut that down just a little, or envelope, not card. That's the word I'm looking for. We're going to just trim that a little tiny bit more. So I have a little bit more play. Like I said, I didn't do this one. I did it different on the other ones. So, if you're trying to get a little bit more room, you can move it up or down a little bit. But there we go. There's our finished card on there. When we open it up, it bends on that little bend, and we have our hip hip hooray. We could add embellishments, we could add ribbon, whatever. Again, I wanted to keep it really simple. This one you can mail without any extra cost. Okay, so let me show you our other ones. So this one here is in the hydrangea hue. Oh, we did forget one thing. Haha, I forgot my little, and I forgot to put some Wink Stella on this one. Let's make this one sparkle. I love Wink Stella. I can make something sparkle without making a mess. Unlike when I used to use glitter years ago. I'm going to just add that. And that creates a nice, triangle focal point on our card as well. So here is our Let's Celebrate with the little stars. So freaking cute. And we have our happy birthday now. So you'll notice in here, this is because I forgot to clean my pad or my glass mat before I started putting things together. So make sure you're cleaning. Here's another one. This one here it says you did it, and it has the hip hip hooray on the inside. This one I used the fun little swirly. You'll notice this white, I used the gel pen. This is the new white gel pen that you can get to add that fun little swirl. And then I wanted to try one other design. So this is using the, what are these called? Party banners. Now these come in really, really big. So you can see I just laid it on my 8.5 by 11 till my 5.5 by 4.25 card until I found one that worked. So one thing that's a little bit different with this one, you'll notice it is one card. I did not cut and score. You could do it this way or this way. I just set it underneath just below. I'll pull this out so you can see a little bit better. When I picked my, I think it's this size. When I picked my piece, nope, it's the next size up. But either way, when I did it, I made sure that that cut right here was above my fold. So that way I did not actually cut that top part. It just cut the sides. Same thing if you wanted to open it this way, you would just make sure that that cut is along the fold, and then you could open it up the other way. This one here, I did a fun masking technique, and I used the gel pen to do the highlights on this one and cut out this. This one is the same here idea. And I have another card I want to show you that I created using that. But first, I'm going to show you one other thing. If you have visited my blog recently, I did finally get my tutorial up. I'm excited. It was my first tutorial. You may have seen this card already. This was my pop-up Father's Day card using the, um, oh goodness, I keep wanting to say it wrong. Um, the Waterside Retreat Suite. That is what it is called. So there's still time for you to get on and get this tutorial. It is just $5 for the tutorial. I have a private video with step-by-step, and you get full step-by-step instructions that you can print out. You can also get it for free by making a purchase on my website, CandiceAnderson.stampinup.net. That's Candice, Candice, Anderson with an O. But see this cute one here? This is pop-up with that same little balloon set that we just used. Same idea. And for the month of June, if you purchase the tutorial for the dad, I'm going to send you this one for free. Again, it's the same basic mechanism here, but some of the little tips and tricks that I did for this one. I'm trying to get it to focus on there. This balloon, you can't see it very well, but the way it's decorated is just so cute. And again, it sits up. Here's another one using all the different in colors and a bit more balloons. So super fun, cute card that you can make. Who wouldn't want that for a happy birthday to set on their desk? So I will share this one with you as well if you end up purchasing this tutorial. You can visit my blog. It has all the details on there. And if you have any questions or something doesn't work, please let me know. I am very, very new to the whole tutorial thing, but I'm excited to be adding things in. There will also be ones from my lives that you can get all the measurements. So I will be sharing this one this week with measurements and how you can do that, and you can refer back to the live. So hopefully you enjoyed that. One other thing, just so that you're aware, like I said, my friend Amelia was the one who shared this one with me, and she is one of the people who do Scrapped with me. We're kind of revamping Scrapped just a little bit. We're hopefully going to all still be posting some during the summer, but we'll be starting fresh in, I think, September with our new layout and plan and how we are doing things. It's been kind of a little crazy for some of our gals lately, and so we're kind of playing it by ear for the summer, I guess. But watch it. You can go back and check out any of those previous Scrapped episodes. There's lots of great ideas on there. Linda, Amelia, and Rachel have awesome ideas to share, and I'm sure we will have even more in our future episodes. So thank you again for joining me. I will see you next Monday with, I don't know what yet, but something fun to share. Continue to watch on Instagram and Facebook. I have lots of fun projects and hopefully more on my blog. I'm working on that and updating a bunch of stuff on there. So be sure to check that out as well, stampinwithcandice.com. Thanks so much, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.